Hi children, this is Venkatamna. Today's class, 10th class physical science. Now we are discussing regarding what we call chemical equations and chemical equations and reactions. Chemical reactions and what we call types of chemical reactions we are discussing. In that what we call we are in a situation where you have to reflect on the concepts. Some reflections on concepts we have to do. First one is what information do you get from balanced chemical equation? What information do you get from balanced chemical equation? Balanced chemical equation. Chemical equation. We are discussing regarding reflection on concepts. Reflections on concepts. Reflections on concepts we are discussing. On concepts. That we are discussing. In that, first one is what information do you get from the balanced chemical equation? We will get information regarding, what is the answer we have? We will get information about reactants and products. It gives information about reactants and products. 9th class book. It gives information about what we call reactants and products. And also it gives about physical states of reactants and products. Physical states of reactants. So first of all, it gives, it expresses or it gives information about reactants and products physical states. So it gives information about reactants and products physical states, whether reactants are liquids or solids or gases, and what are the types of products we are getting, whether we'll get whether solid you are getting, liquids are getting, gases you are getting. That information will be obtained by this what we call chemical equation. Next, any gas evolution occurred. That information also will obtain. Gas evolution occurred. That information also we will obtain. Next, any precipitate formation occurred. Any precipitate formation. Any precipitate formation or formed, that information also we will obtain by the chemical equation. Next, since what we call unified masses, all the masses of reactants and products are measured in unified masses. It also gives information about mass to mass relation of reactants and products. It also gives information regarding mass to volume relation. It also gives information about volume to volume relation. It also gives information regarding mass to volume and also number of molecules or number of atoms or molecules. That information also, that relation also, all these relations we will get. These relations we will obtain from the chemical equation. And also it gives regarding whether it is a thermochemical reaction or it is a photochemical reaction or a electrochemical reaction. That information also we will obtain from the chemical equation. How we will get? We will get information by observing Q. If the plus Q is in the reactant side, we can tell that it is a exothermic reaction. If a minus Q is in the reactants, we can able to tell that it is a endothermic reaction. And that way we can able to get, we can able to see delta symbol on the gives rise to symbol. From that we can able to know whether it is a exothermic reaction. And also and also it gives information regarding it is a photochemical or electrochemical. On the same gives arrow marks gives rise to symbol. There will be what we called photochemical means in presence of light they will mention. If they mention what we call in presence of current, in presence of current or in presence of electricity, it will be mentioned on gives rise to symbol. So in that way, where the given reaction, where the given reaction is a thermochemical reaction, in that thermochemical reaction, is it a exothermic or is it a endothermic? Is it a exothermic or endothermic? That they are, is it a photochemical reaction or is it a electrochemical reaction? That information also we will be obtained by the chemical equation. And also whether that chemical equation involves, whether that equation involves any what you call catalyst or any temperature dependent or any pressure dependent. That information also we can able to get a balanced chemical equation. So overall, a chemical equation is a short notation, but it gives a huge information. In that way, we can able to get interrupt huge information from the chemical balanced chemical equation. So mainly we will get by observing we can able to know about reactants and products of physical states, and also gas evolution occurred or any precipitate formation or any what do call mass to mass chemical calculations also we can able to do with the help of a balanced chemical equation. And what type of chemical calculations we can able to calculate? Mass to mass relation chemical calculation, mass to volume chemical calculation. Mass to mass relation means directly there is a relation between definite ratios of reactants and products. How we will get mass to volume relation? There is a relation between molar mass to molar volume. 1 mole of any gas will have means so and so atomic weight or so and so molecular weight of gas is equals to so and so mole, and that will occupy 22.4 liters of volume and at STP standard temperature and pressure, or at NTP at normal temperature and pressure. So that information we will get it, and also by using the relation molar mass to molar volume and molar volume to number of molecules of so and so gas released or number of atoms of formed, that information also we will get by using a relation between molar mass to molar volume to Avogadro number relation. We know that one molecule weight in terms of grams, is equals to 1 mole, and it will occupy 22.4 liters of volume under STP condition at standard temperature and pressure condition, and that 1 mole of that gas contains Avogadro number of molecules, that is 6.023 into 10 power 23 number of molecules, or 6.023 into 10 power 23 number of atoms. In that way, we can able to get relation mass to volume and volume to number of atoms or number of molecules obtained. Okay, and also by the balanced chemical equation, directly we can get relation between volume to volume because of definite ratio they will react. So from this, what we call all the information can be obtained by a balanced chemical equation. Is it exothermic or endothermic? All that what we call information you can able to get it. Next, why should we balance a chemical equation? One of the important question. Why should we balance a chemical equation? Why should a chemical equation has to be balanced? A chemical equation has to be balanced. A chemical equation has to be balanced. Why? According to law of conservation of mass. According to law of conservation of matter. Matter is neither created nor destroyed. The total mass of the reactant before reaction is equals to the total mass of the products after reaction. That means How many number of atoms of each element will be there before reaction? Same number of atoms of each element should be there after reaction. Then that equation is said to be balanced. That means if that equation is not balanced, or if that equation is a skeleton equation, then what will happen? It is nothing but a violating the law of conservation of mass or law of conservation of matter. As which will, as a result, we can tell that a certain amount of mass is created or a certain amount of mass is destroyed. In that way we can able to get. Suppose if we take what you call H2 plus O2 gives rise to H2O. H2 plus O2 gives rise to H2O if I write. H2 plus O2 gives rise to H2O. From this what is needed? Two atoms of hydrogen, two atoms of oxygen are combining and we are getting two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen only we are getting. That means according to this equation, what happened? One oxygen is destroyed, which is against the law of conservation of mass. So, to satisfy the law of conservation of mass, H2 plus O2 gives rise to H2O, I say. According to this, one oxygen is destroyed, which is violating the law of conservation of mass. So, to satisfy the law of conservation of mass, a chemical equation has to be balanced, or we have to balance the chemical equation. In that way, we can able to tell the chemical equation has to be balanced. Next, what you call, with this what you call reflection of concepts completed, and we already completed many balance in the equations. Balancing the equations, how to balance the equations also we discussed clearly. Now, application of concepts we have to discuss. In that application of concepts, they gave that potassium nitrate and sodium nitrates reacts separately with copper sulfate. Potassium nitrate and what you call sodium nitrate reacts separately with copper sulfate. Then what happens? What happens they are telling? With the copper sulfate solution, write the balanced chemical equations for the above reaction. So first of all, we should know that whether the given materials can able to displace other materials or not. Now what they said that first one, potassium nitrate, KNO3, separately reacting with copper sulfate, and also sodium nitrate, NaNO3 plus CuSO4. Both are what you call highly reactive elements. So it can able to display this element, it can able to display this element. Then what will happen? We will get potassium sulfate, K2SO4 plus what will get? Copper nitrate, CuNO3. CuNO3, what do you call? See, which its valency is 2, its valency is also 2. NO3 valency is 1. Then what will get here? Copper nitrate taken twice. CuNO3 taken twice. Now, similarly here Na2SO4 plus what do you say? CuNO3 taken twice. In both the cases, we will get copper nitrate, and we will get a separate potassium sulfate and sodium sulfate. In that way, we can able to what you call write the equation. But we have to balance that one. Potassium is 2 here, potassium is 1. So let us make this 2 potassium. As a result, sulfur is 1, nitrate is 2, and nitrate is 2. Oxygen is 2 3s are 6, oxygen is 3 2s are 6. Copper is 1, it's a balanced. Next one, what you can tell? Sodium is 1, sodium is 2. Let me make it 2. Then what happens? So nitrogen is 2, nitrogen is 2. And oxygen is 6, oxygen is 3 2s are 6. Copper is 1, sulfur is 1, oxygen is 4 plus 6, 10. Here also 4 plus 6, 10. There also what you call 4 plus 6, 10, 4 plus 6, 10. In that way, we can able to what you call apply our balance in the equation concepts on what you call in a given reaction. They are telling that potassium nitrate and sodium nitrate separately reacting with copper sulfate, and we had to write a balanced equation, and also we had to balance the equation. So we balanced that equation. So like that, what do you call, we have some application of concepts which are nothing but using the balance in the chemical equation. Now let us go for what do you call last one. Last numerical we can go, higher order thinking we can able to go, that 1 mole of propane on combustion gives a kilojoules of heat. 1 mole of propane on combustion at STP gives what do you say, a kilojoules of heat energy. So we have to calculate, already we completed that one. Then we will go for calculate the mass and volume of carbon dioxide liberated. Calculate the mass and volume of carbon dioxide liberated when 2.4 grams of graphite converted into, now let us discuss now. Calculate the mass and volume of carbon dioxide liberated. Volume of carbon dioxide liberated when 2.4 kg of graphite converts into carbon dioxide. Now let us write chemical equation first of all. Graphite is nothing but allotropy form of carbon. So carbon burning in presence of oxygen gives rise to carbon dioxide. Then we had to balance the chemical equation. We balanced the chemical equation. C plus O2 gives rise to CO2. It itself is a balanced chemical equation. Now we have to go for what we call weights. So what they give here, they mentioned about what we call 2.4 grams of graphite is converted into what do you say, carbon dioxide. According to equation, 12 grams of carbon reacts with 12 grams of carbon reacts with 2 grams of reacts with how many grams of oxygen? 32 grams of oxygen to gives 44 grams of carbon dioxide. Now we want relation between copper to what do you say, carbon dioxide. So 12 grams gives 44 grams. But here 2.4 kg. Kg means into 1000 gives X, let us assume. Then what we will get now? X is equals to 2.4 into 1000 into 44 by 12. So if you cancel this 0.10 will be cancelled. So X is equals to what do you say? 24 into 100 into 44 by 12. 12 ones, 12 twos. So X is equals to 2 into 44, 8800 grams. That is equals to 8.8 kg. So how many grams of carbon dioxide liberates when 2.4 kg of a graphite converts into carbon dioxide? 8.8. Therefore, 8.8 kg of carbon dioxide liberates when 2.4 kg of graphite converts into carbon dioxide, we can able to tell that one, into carbon dioxide. So like that we can able to tell. Converts into carbon dioxide. Next, we have to find the volume. How to find the volume? Here? Now let us convert this 8.8 kg. So number of moles of carbon dioxide is equals to 8800 by 44. Then 44 ones, 44 twos. Carbon dioxide also 200 moles we got. How many moles we got? 200 moles. Directly we can tell that 1 mole gives 1 mole of carbon dioxide. 1 mole means 1 moles of carbon dioxide. Then 2.4 thousand means it will be nothing but what, okay, 200 moles. So therefore volume occupied by carbon dioxide, by liberated carbon dioxide is what we will tell 200 into 22.4. So these two zeros cancel, it will be 224. 224 means 4480 liters. In that way we can able to find the volume of a carbon dioxide liberated. Please note down. అడుగు ఎక్కువ అడిగినవా నెంబరు అడిగింది